One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.
You've been around the Delaware program, as you just noted to me, for a long time as a student and then covering the beat. What's the vibe right now, Kevin, within the support system of UD athletics, but also within the fan base about what's going on around the selection of a new athletic director?
The vibe is that Delaware needs to get going on this. People, fans, alumni, community members, journalists are very surprised it's taken Delaware so long to do this. They didn't seem to have any kind of sense of urgency. Former athletic director Eric Ziadi in Delaware parted ways around Christmas time, and Matt Robinson took over as interim AD at the beginning of the new year. And there didn't seem to be any sense of urgency to fill the role on a permanent basis. And Matt Robinson, the interim AD, a longtime sports management professor at Delaware, very well suited for the position, very popular in the position, I think, among a lot of the coaches and staff members, because he knows the position well, knows a lot of people there, seems quite adept at handling it. I think people are very comfortable with him in there. However, there didn't seem to be any sense of urgency to get the position filled. And then on March 18th, they fired the basketball coach and then said, okay, well, we're not going to hire a new basketball coach until we hire a new athletic director, and now we're going to start that search. So the snail's pace with which this whole thing has occurred has really kind of thrown people for a loop.
Is your sense, because of Matt Robinson's popularity and comfort level in the job, that the fan base and university, and of course there's an incoming new president too,
right?
Does Matt's familiarity with the situation, do you feel like that may lend itself to him taking over in a permanent capacity?
Well, Matt is interested in the position, and he has said that he is a candidate for the position and would like to have the position. But I would think that's probably a little bit of a long shot. I don't want to say how much of a long shot, because nobody really knows the new president who's making the call on this thing. Dennis Asanis is coming in from Stony Brook, where he's been in the provost's office, and he hasn't even assumed the presidency at the University of Delaware yet. He's not even doing that until officially until June or July. But yet he's still kind of been making decisions with staffing and stuff like that. He's kind of this phantom guy who nobody really sees, but we know he's kind of pulling strings. So who really knows what he wants, who he wants, what type of person he wants? So it's really a little bit of a guessing game. But I have talked to the person who's the chairman of the selection committee. He's the interim vice president who's been at the university on 2 occasions, 2 terms for a total of only about 4 or 5 years. But smart guy, knows the university pretty well, and they're putting together a selection committee now. But ultimately, the president's going to make the decision. And again, nobody really knows very well what his vision, what his thoughts are about what he's looking for.
What type of leader do you believe the university and the athletic department need right now in that chair?
Well, they obviously need someone who I think understands this level of college athletics, mid-major, FCS in football. There's a lot of things changing at the FCS level, and I think they need to have a good pulse on the landscape for how things are going to change up above and how that may affect the FCS level. I think there's a lot of untapped potential in Delaware for fundraising that really needs to be reached into, because Delaware has some facilities needs. Its football stadium, Delaware football has always been one of the biggest draws in FCS, 1AA before that, football. However, it's got some much needed updates that are needed at the football stadium, and that's something that they've, for 15 years now, been talking about. We just can't get the money for it. We just can't get the money for it. So that's something that I think is really, really imperative, that whoever comes in can really make some headway in that area, because I think it's out there. I think there are donors out there, and they just kind of need to be embraced and brought in. But and the person also needs to understand that this is a very unique place. It's the state university of a small state, and Delaware, the state of Delaware, is almost like a community within itself because it is so small. However, it's a small community, but it's also a very large university, a very good university, a university that kind of fancies itself almost kind of close to that ACC realm, almost like a North Carolina, almost like a Virginia. So it's in a small state. It's in a mid-major conference, the Colonial Athletic Association, but at the same time, it also kind of has big ambitions and big dreams and a big viewpoint of itself academically, and I think athletically it can be bigger and better.
And that's today's One Question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.